Dear Mary, in response to your last video about making movie adaptations of a book, I am going to give a 6-step process of how to make a movie adaptation of a book. So step 1 is to read the books and enjoy. I have definitely been to some movies that are based on some of my favorite books, PJO, where it didn't even seem like the people who made the movies even read the book, which is just absurd. And I did add the little "and enjoy" on the end there, because if you're not passionate about this book and really love what it's saying and how it made you feel and the story and the characters and everything, then you should not be a part of making the movie. So step 2 is to understand the author's goal. This is where part of Divergent kind of went really weird, is what was great about especially Allegiant was just getting into Triss's mind and really understanding, and like really what that book is about is a lot of mental health issues, and it's very hard to explore those in a movie setting, and in the movies they totally disregarded how Trish struggled with the feeling that she was responsible for her family's destruction and the death of so many people around her. Number 3, understand the audience's love for this book. If you don't know why people love the book, then chances are you're going to cut out the best parts of that book. For example, in Gossip Girl, the things that people loved about Gossip Girl wasn't necessarily the writing. It was like the backstabbing and the gossip and the typical teenage squabble kicked up a notch in a lot of cases, and the lavishness, the fact that it took place on the Upper East Side with some of the wealthiest people in the country. But they really did a good job of making the style, all the clothing's very lavish, the parties they went to were very lavish, the things they did, their houses, the art in their apartments and everything like that. They really understood what the audience liked about it and used that to create a bigger audience. Number 4, know what's fun about movies and how books and movies are very different mediums. They can often be used to tell the same story, but often you read a book for a different reason than you watch a movie. For example, Percy Jackson, though they were horrible movie adaptations, they did have a lot of cool action sequences. So action is one of those things that you often have to add into movies. That was something the Divergent series did, especially in Allegiant, is I think they took it a little too far, but they tried to really expound on this futuristic tech, because that's one reason that people go to movies that are placed in the future, is to see all the cool guns and the mind-reading techs and the bubbles that they had, and those can be really cool and really fun to see. Step 5 is to hire good actors, and preferably actors who are fan of the books, or at the very least actors who can kind of delve into the character a little bit more and give people who may have read the books and have a little bit more insight into the characters a little bit more. In Percy Jackson, I'm not sure they really ever talk about them having ADHD very much, but you can constantly see all the demigods are always bouncing up and down, and they're always very jittery, and that was thanks to the actors. It made a huge difference to me. And in Harry Potter, they did such a good job casting, because a lot of times the actors looked exactly how I imagined them in the books. And so really bringing the characters to life on screen is an amazing thing. Number 6. Now, a lot of hardcore book fans are going to be mad at this, but as someone who's forgiving and understands that there's a difference between the medium of cinema and the medium of literature, is that you kind of have to add a fresh subplot. You don't change the main plot, mind you, that's important. Don't change the main plot in most cases, but maybe add a fresh new subplot. My sister actually pointed this out to me. We were watching a series of unfortunate events, and I felt like when I first started watching, I was like, yeah, this seems like they're doing exactly what happened in the books, spot on. And then all of a sudden there was this random subplot where it made you think that the Baudelaire's parents were still alive, and then they were doing some crazy stuff to get back to their kids or something like that. There was this subplot with all these secret agents of some secret society that you didn't really understand. And that wasn't necessarily in the books, but it made it more interesting because I've already read the books. I already know what happens, so it is good to surprise me every once in a while. To completely change the main plot, though, is a huge mistake. That's all I've got for you. Sincerely, your Sir de Cinema.